Okay, in this video we're going to discuss dangers of tearing holes in the fabric of space, part 2, the relationship of dimensions. So the reality of the relationship of dimensions is that for purposes of explaining dimensions, I describe them as being stacked one on top of the other. So in the picture on diagram 1, you see that the universe is at the bottom, and then above that is the safety dimension. Now the safety dimension, as I explained in a previous video, is bigger than this universe, is empty, full of vacuum. And I also mentioned that the Tunguska comet's debris is in there, and people have been putting other stuff in there, including people. And the next dimension above that is the storage dimension, which we refer to as hell. Next one is the sun's fuel dimension, which is unique because all the other stars' fuel dimensions are in fact above heaven's dimension. So the next one up is heaven's dimension. Alright, that's where heaven is. So you get a wormhole from universe to heaven and you're in there. Now the reality is that this is going to be hard for people to grasp. Figure 2, we see diagram number 2, you can see that dimensions are actually at the same location. So when we tear a hole in the fabric of space at this location and you go into the safety dimension, where would you expect it to be? In relation to this dimension, it's at the same XYZ coordinates. But, as I mentioned in a previous video, the relationship between dimensions, because the planet Earth is rotating and orbiting the Sun and tilting for seasons, then we have a situation where if you were to go into that dimension, you would wind up unable to come back to this universe at the same location until the planet had rotated 24 hours. So you'd wind up in the center of the safety dimension in relation to the universe. So tearing a hole in the fabric of space, you'd wind up in the center of the safety dimension because Earth is in the center of the universe. Okay? And you wouldn't, if we were looking at it in the diagram figure 1, you'd expect, because it's a tearing a hole in the fabric of space, it's not a wormhole, that you'd have to travel in a spaceship to the wall of the universe, then tear a hole in the fabric of space, and then go into the safety dimension, which is above it. And who knows what would have happened if you went down to the bottom. Alright, so this is sort of like imagining the world being flat. So, alright, people might not get it yet, you might get it later. Okay, so tearing a hole in the fabric of space here places you in the center of the safety dimension. And so if we put an object in the safety dimension and we were to leave it there and we wanted to recover it in relation to the Earth, you would have to wait until 24 hours later in order to get it back. And if you left it too long, because of the tilt of the Earth and the seasons and the rotation around the Sun, you would have to wait an entire year to see that object again. So that's the relationship of dimensions. When we talk tearing holes in the fabric of space, we have to bear this in mind because that's how dimensions actually are, is exactly what is in figure 2. They're at the same location, just imagine it as being a different place. Okay, but in order for us to figure things out, we use figure 1 in order to describe the stack of dimensions. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.